The phone lines have lit up. People want to ask you about their pets. And the first caller is Judy from Texas. And I think Judy is a cat lover. Hi, Judy.
Hey, Lorie, it's Judy.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Well, do you have a question for Tim?
I do. I have an older cat, and I lost her brother last year, and I adopted 2 little babies a year ago, and one of them is named Tigger. And what's amazing about Tigger is he literally does not walk. He jumps just like Tigger does from Winnie the Pooh. And is it possible for a cat to be an ADHD cat? He never stops. He entertains himself. He plays everything.
Right. Well, each individual animal has their own personality. So, just like you and I, some are very excitable, very outgoing, very active in conversation as well as activity, and others are more subdued in their conversation and their activity. So, yeah, I say let him do his thing, enjoy that. That's going to be that's an interesting combination you have in the household now, and he's going to add some a new flavor, something you haven't had in your household before.
I know Judy, and I bet she's a little bit sad still over the loss of Chelsea. Anything you can say to comfort her?
Well, Chelsea's been, the question, Judy, is have you felt Chelsea back around?
I haven't.
Okay, be open to it, because Chelsea's back. They always come back around. You'll get the feeling they're always there for you. So the key thing is to get in your quiet zone, whatever that may be, prayer time, quiet time, and actually in those times when you're thinking about her the most, thinking about your kitty the most, they'll come back to you.
Oh, wow. Well, I loved my little one, as many of my friends knew. It was a very difficult change.
Judy, we're going to send you a copy of Wagging Tails by Tim Link, and I know that you will enjoy this book. Thanks for calling today.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Wow, let's go to Lorie from Iowa. Hey, Lorie, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. You got a question for Tim?
Yeah, I do. Well, actually, I want you to tell me a little bit about my dogs. I got her, she's a St. Bernard mix, and she's an Animal Rescue League dog.
Right.
And her name is Gracie.
And she was a drop-off to the Rescue League?
Well, no, actually they found her in a grocery store parking lot.
Okay, and so somebody dropped her off there then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And
I've had her, she's pretty smart.
Okay.
I've had her for, let's see, she's going on, this month she's 6 years old.
Okay, so she's 6 years old. And you've had her since a puppy?
I've had her since 7 months.
Since 7 months. Okay. And what do you? And what question do you have of her? What do you? Is there a health concern going on right now?
A little bit, yeah. She's had a hematoma on her ear before.
Okay.
And she shakes her head. I've been cleaning her ears out.
Okay. So the hematoma though was taken care of. That's all gone now.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
So don't worry about that anymore.
Well, it happened again, but they went down. I didn't have to have them lanced.
Yep. Okay, so just you're aware of it, which is a good thing. So keep an eye on it. Catch it early on. Get them taken care of. I think they're going to continue to pop up from time to time, but it's not going to be a life-threatening thing at this point. So put that worry aside and just keep an eye on her. Catch it early on. But definitely a very strong. She's taught you a lot. Is that a correct assumption?
Yeah. She's the smartest dog I've ever had.
Okay.
She was trained out at a women's prison.
Oh, wow. Cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Lorie, we're going to send you a copy of Wagging Tails. I know you'll enjoy it.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your insight there.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Bonnie wants to know if you'll hire yourself out as a cat sitter because you're doing such a great job.
Patches is falling asleep.
The cat could be happier.
The nervousness is probably gone.
We talked it out a little bit. She's feeling good. She's no longer shaking. Everything's great. So we're good shape.
Her eyes were closed, but now that we're talking about her, she's looking around.
She's beautiful.
Let's go back to the phone lines. I think it's Dani from Michigan. Dani, is that right?
Yes.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
What's your question for Tim?
I have 2 pugs, and one of them is, he does good with other people and stuff. The other one's a little more shy and reserved and has some anxiety issues, and I'm just kind of wondering what can help relieve his little issues.
Okay. Well, one of the things is let him sort of go at his own pace. So don't expect the same routine or the same things from both dogs. They have to be their individual personalities. That's the first thing you can do. The second thing you can do is if he's going to be out in public, if he's going to be around other animals or other dogs, the first thing you need to do is feel confident about the situation, feel calm about it yourself. So don't project out there that there could be an issue or that he's going to get worried about the situation.
Okay.
And the third thing you can do is before you introduce him to other animals or get him out in a situation where he's out in public, is maybe give him a little bit of a flower essence or something of this sort of calming agent, an herb or a flower essence that will help calm him a little bit before he's introduced to a situation he's not totally comfortable with.
Are they from the same litter?
Pardon me?
Are they from the same litter?
No,
Okay.
they aren't. They came from two separate homes.
Well, does that sound like something you can do, Dani?
Pardon me?
Those sound like steps you can take?
Oh, definitely.
Well, good. Well, hope it helps you. We're going to send you a copy of Wagging Tails, and you are going to love it.
Okay.
All righty. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Dani.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Is there a difference with animals from the same litter? I mean, did they really feel a kinship? I mean, do they feel like, oh, that's my brother, that's my sister, or it's just another animal to them?
Well, they do to a degree. It depends on how they're raised more than anything. So if you have two animals from the same litter and you separate them, then they can live perfectly fine, healthy, happy lives without any trauma. But as they continue to grow up together, then they do start to form that bond and they get that relationship. But keep in mind, they're their own unique personalities. So they can be the same animals, from the same litter, but each one's going to have their unique personality, and you have to identify that and let them be themselves.
And can animals from different litters form that same bond if they're raised in a home, a loving home,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. It's based on the energy of the household, the love in the household. It's just like everything else. The bigger, the better, and the happier the family, the better off they're going to be.
Well, you met my puppy last time you were here, and she's gained about 20 pounds since you saw her. Doing better on the potty training, but now she's chewing
not
everything.
A whole lot better.
Well, yeah. And she's so big now she can reach up on like the kitchen counter and drag things down. Is there something I can tell her that would tell her to quit doing this?
Right. Well, first of all, we've got to continue to keep her active and keep her exercised. I know that's challenging in today's environment when everybody's going 1,000 miles an hour. But you got to keep them mentally and physically stimulated. So you're going to need some extra time with her. Hire somebody, get a kid in the neighborhood to spend some time if you can. And then the biggest thing as far as what your expectations of her not getting up on the counter, explain it. Explain the situation. Explain what you're wanting, what they need to do, and why it's going to be a good thing. And they will know exactly what you're talking about. They'll see that imagery that you're putting out there, and they'll start to respond. So you got to be consistent with it. That's the key.
Okay,
That's
I spent 35 years in news. I'm a little skeptical. What if someone says, you're really talking to these animals? I mean, can other people develop this skill? And what is it, do you think, what skill do you have that allows you to communicate with animals, do you think? Because not everybody claims that can communicate with animals.
Right. Well, I think it's a gift that's been given to me.
Okay.
I think it's one of those things where it's grown over time, and as the opportunities continue to present themselves, the gift continues to grow. But I do think everybody has that ability to be able to connect at a deeper level with your pets. You just have to calm your mind, open your heart, and just start accepting it and letting that information flow through. And I think you'll get more out of it than what you ever imagined.
Is it like parenthood in the sense that sometimes you just feel like, oh, my animal needs me today, or my animal's distressed today? I mean, you just have that feeling, I guess.
Absolutely. You talk a lot about mother's intuition with their infants.
Yeah.
The infants can't communicate. They don't know their speaking patterns and how they communicate, so they have that intuitive connection. And that's what we're talking about is, my intuitive connection, I receive a lot of different information. For you, it may just be a feeling. Go with it.
Well, take another Claritin because you're covered with it. Pat just wants your phone number.
Bring it on.
Thanks so much for coming in today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's
I
always a
appreciate
lot
it.
of fun.